My wife chose her affair partner over fixing our marriage, so I sent him proof she was married. Now her fling is gone, her world's crumbling, and she's on her knees begging me back. Hello Reddit I plus here. My name is Daniel Mercer, I'm 41 years old, and this is the story of how my wife of 15 years chose her affair partner over me, only to come crawling back when reality hit her. From the outside, people thought Maya and I were the perfect couple. She's 39, beautiful, charismatic, and the kind of mom other women looked up to. I've always been the steady one, the provider, the problem solver, the guy who keeps everything together when life gets messy. But behind closed doors, our marriage wasn't perfect. Between raising 2 young kids, juggling careers, and years of small resentments piling up, we had drifted apart. We weren't fighting every day, but we weren't exactly connecting either. That's when she met Ethan, a coworker at her marketing firm. At first, I didn't think much of it. She mentioned him casually, too casually in hindsight. But then came the little changes. Her phone was always flipped face down. She suddenly had late-night work projects, her laughter when she texted, and eventually, the gut feeling that screamed something was wrong. One night after she went to bed, I opened the family laptop. I wasn't looking for trouble. But when I saw her messages had synced to the email account we shared, my world stopped. Thousands of texts. Not just work banter, not just friendly jokes, but long emotional conversations, love notes, inside jokes, then dates, and then the final nail, their sexual messages. I felt my stomach turn. When I confronted her the next day, she didn't even deny it. We shouted, we cried. I called her a witch, something I regret, but it came from a place of sheer rage and heartbreak. After hours of fighting, we agreed to separate and take some time apart. Days later, calmer but broken, we sat down again. We talked about how we'd neglected each other, about how maybe we'd let our marriage rot from the inside. I told her, plainly, if you want this marriage, it's him or me. You can't have both. I expected her to choose me. We had 15 years together, 2 children, a home, a life we built brick by brick. But without hesitation, she whispered, I can't walk away from him. Not yet. It was like a dagger twisting in my chest. The very next morning, still seething, I found Ethan's number. I fired off a sarcastic text. Congratulations. You've officially destroyed a family. You must be proud. Good luck being better than me. Childish? Maybe. But I wanted him to feel the weight of what he'd stepped into. To my surprise, his reply came almost instantly. Wait. She's married. She told me she was separated. And just like that, he blocked her. When Maya found out, she was devastated. She begged me not to ruin things for her, as if she was the victim here. Watching her cry, not for me, not for our kids, but for him, was soul-crushing. 2 weeks later, things settled into an uneasy truce. We started sorting out separation logistics. She'd find an apartment, I'd keep the house, we'd split custody. Oddly enough, the calm brought something else too. Connection. We started talking again, reminiscing, laughing even. For the first time in months, I felt like maybe the woman I married was still in there. One night, she whispered, Daniel, I don't want to lose you. Can we try again? Despite every red flag waving in my mind, I said yes. I still loved her. For a week, it was magical. We cooked together, tucked the kids in, stayed up late talking about our dreams. I wanted so badly to believe we were healing. But then, one night, I glimpsed a message she was typing to her sister. The words seared into my brain. I still care about Ethan so much. Losing him hurts more than I can explain. My heart stopped. While she showered, I did something I'd never done before. I took her phone. In 2 frantic minutes, I scrolled through fragments of her conversations. She'd deleted most, but the pieces were enough. She told her sister she regretted asking me to reconcile. She said she could never forgive me for calling her a witch. And worst of all, she hinted there were things about her affair she could never tell me. Her sister, twice divorced and no friend of mine, kept egging her on. Leave him. You deserve better. Don't settle. When Maya came out of the shower, I was waiting with the phone in my hand. So it's not me you want. It's him. Still him. She stammered excuses, claimed I misunderstood, said she was just venting, but the damage was done. We fought again. I told her it was over for real this time. No more reconciliations. No more, maybe later. She cried, told me I was throwing away a second chance, that I was the one giving up now. That's when I realized she was gaslighting me. She wanted me to believe this was my fault, that my hurtful words, my angry text to Ethan, my snooping made me just as guilty as her affair. But the truth was simple. I didn't step out of my marriage. I didn't lie thousands of times through hidden texts. I didn't choose someone else when given the chance to save us. She did. We're still under the same roof until she finds a place. The kids don't know the full story. We're shielding them as best we can. On the surface, we're polite, even friendly. Sometimes it almost feels normal again. But it's not real. It can't be. Because love doesn't survive on almost, and trust doesn't survive on lies. She keeps saying, "We were so good again. Why throw that away?" But deep down, I know the truth. We weren't good. We were pretending. She was clinging to me because he was gone, not because she truly wanted me. And if he ever unblocked her, if he ever called, I know she'd answer. That's not love, that's desperation. So when she asks for another chance, my answer will be the same. I'm not naive. I know divorce won't be easy. I know there will be lonely nights and moments where I wonder if I made the right choice. But I also know this. I gave her the chance to choose me, and she didn't. That's all I'll ever need to remember. The day after our last fight, Maya acted like nothing had happened. She cooked pancakes for the kids, hummed while making coffee, even kissed me on the cheek like old times. For a split second, I wondered if maybe I'd overreacted. Maybe I was being too harsh. But then, when she turned away, I saw her smile vanish, like the warmth she'd been showing was a mask she'd put on just for the kids. That's when I knew Maya wasn't fighting for our marriage. She was fighting to keep her image intact. Later that night, I overheard her on the phone with her sister again. I stood outside the bedroom door, my chest tightening with every word. "He ruined it," she whispered. "If Daniel hadn't told Ethan I was married, things would be different. I'd still have him. I don't even know if I want this marriage. It just feels safer than being alone. Safer. Not love. Not respect. Not commitment. Just safer." I clenched my fists so hard my nails dug into my palms. That was the moment I stopped doubting myself. She wasn't choosing me. She was settling until she found another exit. A week later, I came home from work early. The kids were at a sleepover. The house was quiet, and Maya's car was in the driveway. I walked inside and froze. She was on the couch, laptop open, whispering into her phone. "Yes, I miss you too. I know, I should have told you everything sooner. But Daniel's making things difficult." "No, don't worry, he won't stop me." Her voice was low, shaky, desperate. I stepped closer. "Who are you talking to?" She jumped like she'd seen a ghost, fumbling to close the laptop. "Work call," she stammered. But I'd already seen it. Ethan's name glowing across the screen. I laughed. Bitter, hollow, exhausted. "So you found a way to crawl back to him after all." Her eyes welled with tears. "Daniel, please." "No," I cut her off. "Save it. Every word that comes out of your mouth is a lie." She tried to chase me down the hallway, pleading. But I shut the bedroom door in her face. That was the last time I believed anything she said. The next morning, Maya begged for another conversation. Against my better judgment, I sat across from her at the kitchen table. "Daniel, I swear I love you. I got confused. He made me feel alive again. But you're my husband, the father of my kids. I don't want to lose this family." I stared at her, wondering if she even believed her own words. Then she added something that made my blood run cold. "And if we do divorce, don't think you're walking away with everything. I've given this marriage 15 years. I have rights too." That was it. She wasn't just betraying me emotionally. She was already plotting to take me down financially. I leaned back in my chair, studying her like a stranger. "You really think you're going to blow up this marriage, betray me, pine after another man, and then waltz out with half of what I built?" Her silence told me everything. The following days were pure hell. Maya oscillated between begging me to give us another chance and threatening that if I didn't, she'd make divorce as painful as possible. One night, she said something that pushed me past the breaking point. "You think you're so perfect, Daniel. But you're not. You never made me feel special. Ethan did. That's why I chose him. And maybe if you'd been a better husband, none of this would have happened." I felt something in me snap. For years I had carried our family, supported her through career changes, stayed up with the kids when they were sick, worked long hours to give us the life we had. And now she was blaming me for her affair? I stood up, grabbed my keys, and left the house before I said something I'd regret. That night in my car, I made a decision. No more bargaining. No more second chances. I called a divorce attorney the next morning. When Maya found out, she lost it. She screamed, cried, threatened, then switched to pleading, all in the same hour. "You're really going to throw away 15 years? She sobbed. "You did that the moment you chose him," I said quietly. She collapsed onto the couch, covering her face, and for the first time, I didn't feel pity. I felt free. But betrayal has a funny way of circling back. 2 weeks after I filed, Ethan ghosted her completely. No calls, no texts, no explanations, just gone. Suddenly, Maya was everywhere, leaving notes in my car, texting me long paragraphs about our memories, trying to seduce me when we were alone. One night, she cornered me in the kitchen, tears streaming down her face. "Daniel, please, he doesn't want me. I was stupid. You're the only man who ever truly loved me. Please don't give up on us." For a moment, the old ache in my chest returned. The part of me that remembered our wedding day, the births of our children, the nights we held each other when life got hard. But then I remembered the texts, the laughter she shared with him, the words she whispered to her sister about regretting choosing me. I looked her dead in the eye and said, "You didn't come back because you love me. You came back because he left you, and I refused to be your consolation prize." She broke, full sobs, but I didn't waver. The divorce isn't final yet, but the papers are in motion. Maya still tries to win me back in small ways, making my favorite meals, leaving old photos of us around the house, reminiscing about our first date. But it's too late. I gave her the chance to choose me. She chose him, and when he chose himself, she tried to crawl back. I won't let my worth be determined by a woman who only values me when her fantasy collapses. So when she begs for another chance, I give her the same answer every time. No, because sometimes the strongest thing a man can do is walk away. Filing for divorce was the easy part. Living with the fallout was hell. Maya's mask cracked quickly. The same woman who used to beg me to reconcile suddenly became cold, calculating, almost ruthless. She called my lawyer's office to negotiate privately, claiming she deserved more than half because she'd sacrificed her best years for me. She tried to twist our history, painting herself as the loyal, underappreciated wife who had endured a distant husband. It was like watching her rewrite our life together into some warped story where I was the villain. One night, while tucking our son into bed, I overheard Maya whisper to him, "Daddy's making Mommy move away, but don't worry, I'll always be here for you." I froze in the hallway. She wasn't just coming after me anymore, she was trying to turn the kids against me. The real betrayal came during mediation. Maya sat across from me in a neat blazer, her face perfectly composed, as if she hadn't shattered my world just weeks ago. Her lawyer leaned forward and said, "Maya believes it's in the children's best interest to live primarily with her, given Daniel's demanding work schedule." I almost laughed out loud. Demanding work schedule? The same schedule that paid for her car, our vacations, and the very house she wanted to take? I clenched my fists under the table. That's not what's best for the kids. They need both parents, and you know damn well I've been there for them every step of the way. Maya's eyes flickered, but she didn't speak. For the first time, I realized she wasn't just fighting to win custody. She was fighting to hurt me. Within days, rumors started circulating. Friends I hadn't spoken to in months began calling me, asking if I was okay. Apparently, Maya had been busy telling her side of the story, that I was cold, controlling, and drove her into another man's arms. At first, I felt sick with rage, but then I realized her desperation was showing. People could see through the cracks if they looked closely enough, and I had something she didn't. Proof. Screenshots of her messages with Ethan. The email threads. The late-night texts. I didn't want to use them, not unless she forced my hand, but part of me knew that day was coming. The lowest point came when Maya tried to blindside me financially. One Friday afternoon, I got a call from my bank. Someone had tried to move $12,000 out of our joint account. It was her. When I confronted her, she didn't even deny it. She smirked. "It's marital money, Daniel. I have every right to it. You don't have the right to drain accounts behind my back." I shot back. She crossed her arms. "Maybe if you hadn't humiliated me in front of Ethan, I wouldn't have had to take care of myself." That was it. That was the moment she stopped being the woman I married and became an adversary. Court was brutal. Custody hearings, financial disclosures. Maya painted herself as a victim, claiming she was emotionally neglected. But when my lawyer calmly slid the printouts of her messages across the table, the room shifted. Judges don't care about affairs directly, but they care about character. And the sheer volume of lies, the manipulation, the way she'd misled Ethan and me simultaneously, it shattered her credibility. Her lawyer stammered, trying to reframe it as emotional confusion, but the damage was done. When the judge announced temporary custody would remain joint, I saw the panic flash across Maya's face. For once, she wasn't in control. As weeks dragged into months, Ethan never came back. Maya called, texted, even showed up at his office once, only to be escorted out by security. And me? I started feeling lighter, like a man who had been holding his breath underwater and finally surfaced. The final straw came one night when she knocked on my bedroom door. Her voice was soft, almost childlike. "Daniel, what if we just called this off? What if we tried again? For the kids?" I stared at her, and for the first time in a long time, I didn't feel anger. I felt pity. "Maya, you don't want me. You want the life I gave you, but that life is gone. You killed it." She broke down, sobbing, but I walked past her and went to bed. The divorce was finalized 6 months later. I kept the house. Custody was split evenly. Finances were divided fairly, not the jackpot she'd hoped for. Maya moved into a small apartment across town. Sometimes when she drops off the kids, I see the regret etched in her face. But regret doesn't erase betrayal. As for me, I've started living again, real living. Not the half-life of suspicion, lies, and empty reconciliations. And whenever doubt creeps in, I remind myself of the one truth that has never changed. I gave her the chance to choose me, and she didn't.